while everyone's grinding down into their business plans and figuring out all this big money that they're going to make and this big plan and all these strategies and tactics, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on this path of giving you the little pieces to put together so that you can create the experience that you want to create in 2018 and beyond, so that you don't go through this exercise of sitting down, doing the business plan, putting it in the drawer, and totally abandoning it. See, what you need to have are guiding principles that you always go back to. We overcomplicate things. We get too much into this academic space, and really what we're doing, the big, huge mistake that we do is we hear or we find something that works, and then everyone rushes to it because they're going to do it better. And the one thing that I would share with you is this: just be you. You know, in marketing, in sales, in standing out, it's all about being different, but everyone's in the sprint to do the same damn thing. And part of it has to do with our filter and our concern of stepping outside of what everyone, holds this picture of us being. And so, what we've talked about, and again, it's not just to be, this lightning rod. It's standing in my truth, because that's just the only way I know how to operate. It's a commitment that I made to myself about 9 years ago when I decided to change my life. Now, am I perfect? No, I'm flawed. But I want to share with you what are my truths from my journey. What are the greater truths in working with open, willing, and aware human beings that want more, that want actually to discover that, success isn't money. I thought success would be fulfillment, but success is a toxic mimic for fulfillment. So I'm going to give you continue on through the end of the year here, giving you some principles that will guide you, that will change things. From Hawaii, yeah! And as a matter of fact, am I out here slouching? No, I just completed coaching call number 32 this week. Got a few more to go. Start at 2 a.m. out here in the morning. Yeah, I know, you're crazy. Do you ever sleep? And, I just don't really listen to that type of stuff because, many of us that listen to that type of stuff is the shit that's holding you back from the life that you want. So you got to be a little bit what society calls crazy, okay, and be a little bit different if you want something different. Being different in the choices that you make instead of chasing after the same target that everyone else is and just, trying to, contrive this way that I'm going to do it different. You know what? Here's how you be different. Be you. Be you. Show up as you. Get rid of the filter. But here's what I want to do. I want to go back to where I started. I started with number one, the big why. The reason you're not being productive has nothing to do with you're big enough, your why's not big enough. Your why is getting in the way. Overwhelm is the number one reason for paralyzation and not taking action. That's number one. Number two, then what we talked about is this. To really grow, okay, you've got to take personal responsibility for everything and anything in your personal life and your business life. Because if you pick and choose what you're going to take responsibility for, you can't grow then in the areas. What are you going to be? Are you going to be a bumper car in life? Well, I can't control that, so when that happens, it's going to knock me on my ass. No. If you do some reverse manifestation and you look backwards at every single outcome that you've had in your life, there was a point, there was a choice that you made. Something happened. And in some situations you say, well, I didn't pick my parents or this or that. Well, then there's another way you need to look at that. Okay. How did they serve you? I know people that have had very challenging experiences with parents that were high-level disciplinarians, and whether it was abuse or whatever it may be, the only way that they could break through was looking at, okay, so where was the positive in that? Because by the way, if you can't unpack the positive in every single experience in your life, that's always going to sit back there and it's going to haunt you. It's called your shadow, but that's for a whole other call. So number one, we talked about, the big why is getting in the way. Number two, personal responsibility. You got to own everything. Number three, we talked about a commitment, okay? Commitment is specific, measurable, actionable. Specific, measurable, actionable. It has to have a deadline. Okay, someone has to check in, and not your wife, not your boyfriend or your girlfriend, not someone's going to set up an agreement system and say, oh, honey, you tried. No, it's someone that understands accountability, and accountability is observing or noticing without judgment. It's observing or noticing without judgment. See, that's the art in accountability. People tell me that, oh, I hold my people accountable. No, you don't. You condemn people. You condemn people because you use the wrong words, okay? You got to use the right words. You got to understand human behavior. You've got to understand that you want people to receive your message in a good way instead of resist it. Okay? Here's the fourth piece that I want to share with you. You want to be successful? You want to have a good business plan? You want to grow? You better learn abundance. Oh, that word, abundance, transparency, vulnerability. So, well, guess what? Here's the most important thing that I believe. I think that you should be disciplined. I think you should be commitment. That's why I'm a gym rat. I'm a gym rat because I want to live a certain way and I want to be healthy, but I think it all comes in play. If I'm going to stand up in front of people and talk about being committed and disciplined, I think that physically I need to walk the talk. I really, really do. Okay? So let's come back to abundance. I want to talk to you about abundance. That's getting in the way. You don't have any secrets. I could probably, and this isn't a shameless plug for you to hire me for coaching. That's not what this is about. This is about you taking value from what I share with you. And I hope you do. You may disagree. I hope you disagree too. We can have a real responsible conversation and agree to disagree. But this just comes from studying super, super highly productive people. This comes from studying human behavior. This comes from studying this character who was just a big fat loser. I was just a loser and understanding what happened. So this is the next piece that can change the entire landscape of your life and your business, just everything, and it's abundance. Well, what do I mean by abundance? You know what? It is being open. It is not thinking that you have secrets. It's not sitting there being worried what's outside of you. It's understanding. See, listen, I don't think there's anyone here on this video that will watch it now in the live stream or someone that will watch it in the future, okay, that invented electricity or invented light. You are where you're at because of generous human beings and a commitment probably on your part to go out and get educated, okay, to go out and gain more value. But there's someone in the lineage that was generous, that gave you something that improved your life. So you're going to stop? You're not going to continue to pass that on? Well, that's why your business is stopping. That's why your business isn't growing. Well, okay, John, and this is what I really love doing. I love talking about something and sharing an example. Let me give you an example. I can share with you 4 people. There's actually 6 because there's 2 that I've signed confidentiality agreements with that are coaches that I've coached that are in the same environment as me, that want me to coach them and help them in some of the same subject matters, okay? That, you know what, I can sit back and say, oh boy, but if I coach them and train them on, they're going to take people from me. No. You know what they're going to do? They're going to have a better life. They're going to extend a message out, and maybe they're going to come with a message and hit someone with their delivery, their personality to expand more people's lives. Have you ever thought about that? Your secret squirrel real estate lead generation thing. You know what? Go out and help a couple people. Show them what you're doing. Help them out. Watch what happens. And I can just show this to you. I'm not a guy that, I made $2 million or $3 million this year, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to get into that. That's just not my deal. And I know some people like to. But I will tell you is I continue to spend tons of money on education from people and from coaches. What I can tell you is this too. My marketing budget will end up being under $5,000. And I'll just share that my business is doing just fine. It's growing the way it needs to. Why? What's the number one reason that my business is growing the way it's growing? The unbelievable, amazing human beings that I'm grateful to work with that trust in me is because I operate from a spirit of abundance. I keep the flow going. I don't let it stop. See, because scarcity, stops the flow. Scarcity is a dead end. Secrets, you don't have any secrets, okay? The more that you keep to yourself, the more others will keep to themselves that could actually expand your business. See, I've got an event coming up, and again, not another shameless plug to it, in LA. It's almost sold out. I haven't spent $1 on marketing it. I'm not some big name in the coaching industry, and I've got friends, Tom Ferry's a guy I respect immensely. The guy's a celebrity in the coaching industry. And they hear his name and people come because he's good, he's smart, he's got a track record. But here's what's happening. We haven't spent a dime, we haven't marketed, put typical marketing to it, because what I've created is an abundant environment, a place where people come together and they're just as excited to share what they're doing, not from a space of ego, look at me, but to help other people. And they understand, I don't think they carry this big expectation. Now I better get something in return. That's the other piece you've got to get. If you want to be abundant, you got to drop that crap. But John, I need to expect something in return. No, here's what you need to expect. You need to expect that you bring value and you share it with enough people. Because if you're being abundant and you're helping people and nothing's happening in return for you, well, you're giving them crap then. You're not giving them good content. You're not truly helping them. Okay? So here's what I want to coach you to do is this. I want you to really, truly live in abundance. And so you know what I want you to do? I want you to think of someone that asked for help from you, but you were concerned that they're a competitor. You're concerned they would use it against you. You know what? I want you to call them up and take them to lunch and ask them how you can help them. Because I do it every day. I've got an email from someone right now that wants me to coach them to coach, and I will. And I'll tell you what, the people I've coached that coach, they're kicking ass too. Because they'll tell you this too. They'll tell you this. There was a space where they were concerned about that. And I said, listen, you're not going to turn the corner. You're not going to turn the corner until you're abundant. You're not going to turn the corner until you're not worried about whether someone's going to buy from you or not. You're going to turn the corner when you wake up every damn day and you have a voice and you're clear on it and you're unwavering and it is for the greater good of everyone else. And let me tell you about that business plan of making a lot of money. You're going to have more than you desire. And I say it here from Hawaii. Now, stocking cap in Hawaii, I'll tell you why. So today, here's what I'm going to do. So we're all going to look at, right, there's your homework. Go out and find someone to help today that maybe you were resistant to, that you didn't want to tell them what you were doing. Just do it, okay? And I'd love to hear about it. I mean, put it back here in the thread. And listen, that right there alone should be your business plan for 2018. Unreal what will happen. So I got my stocking cap on because I'm going up to 14,000 foot elevation, Mauna Kea, the world's largest observatory. Then I'm going to jump over the Saddle Road here on the Big Island. And then I'm going to go over into Waipio Valley. And I think there's somewhere else I'm going. I don't know, but I'm going exploring. Here's what I want you to explore. I want you to explore true abundance. Stop talking about it and do it. And watch what happens. Aloha.